Hello there, very good afternoon. You're watching Lunchtime News on TV1. Just before we start off, let's take a look at your headlines for this afternoon. Low pressure system in the Bay of Bengal likely to intensify into a cyclonic storm over the next 24 hours. Fishing communities advised to refrain from setting out to sea. Death toll of Mahara prison unrest rises to 9, 113 injured. 35 test positive for COVID-19. Abu Dhabi police arrest suspect connected to the shooting of cricketer Dhananjay De Silva's father. On to your top story this afternoon. Minister of Education Professor G.L. Peary in Parliament today said that the GCE ordinary level examination will have to be postponed owing to the prevailing situation in the country. Minister said that the date of holding the examination will be announced in the future.
අමාරු තීරණයක් ගන්නට සිදු වෙලා තිබෙනවා. ඒ තීරණය ගන්න සිදු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ පොදු සහතික සාමාන්‍ය පෙළ.
We have no choice but to make this tough decision. 621,000 candidates will be sitting for the GCE ordinary level exam. As of now, we have set the 18th of January to the 28th of January next year as the dates for the exam. We won't be able to open other schools in the first week of December. I believe that it is unfair to hold the exam on the days we have decided to hold it. All candidates will be sitting for the exam, won't be able to attend classes. Against such a backdrop, the suitable decision is to postpone the exam. We will be analyzing the health situation of the country in every 2 weeks. I have to emphasize that when deciding the date of the exam, we will be given a preparation time of 6 weeks for the candidates.
කිරීමේදී අපි සති 6ක කාලයක් අපේ ශිෂ්‍ය ශිෂ්‍යාවන්ට ලබා දෙනවා.
Now, according to the Met Department, Sri Lanka will have to experience some major changes in the weather in the coming few days. We have Jamal Ratnayaka in the newsroom. Jamal, what is going to happen in terms of the weather in the coming few days in Sri Lanka?
Thank you very much, Tarusha, and a very good evening to all our viewers, a very good afternoon rather to all our viewers. We can certainly say that a storm is brewing, and that particular storm is brewing 530 kilometers southeast of Trincomalee in the Bay of Bengal, as you can see right here. So according to the Department of Meteorology, as at 5 a.m. today, this deep depression system was lying 530 kilometers away from Trincomalee in the east coast of Sri Lanka, and it is expected to move closer to Sri Lanka during the course of the day and make landfall eventually in the eastern coast of Sri Lanka tomorrow. And this cyclone which is brewing has been named Cyclone Burevi by international sources. This cyclone is expected to make landfall tomorrow, and the full force of the cyclone will be felt by Sri Lanka tomorrow and the day after. It is going to make landfall in the eastern seaboard of Sri Lanka and then move towards the north central province, northwestern province, and eventually make its way towards India. The Department of Meteorology says that very heavy incessant rains can be experienced during tomorrow and the day after, when the full force of Cyclone Burevi will be felt by Sri Lanka. Moreover, the Department of Meteorology has added that wind speeds, sudden gushes of wind between 80 to 100 kilometers per hour can be experienced when we are experiencing the full force of Cyclone Burevi tomorrow and the day after. Moreover, the Department of Meteorology has added that tidal waves can increase to 1 meter in length during the cyclone's activation in this area. However, it has dispelled any concerns regarding tsunamis, and it has said that the tidal waves up to 1 meters in height are actually the consequences of Cyclone Burevi. Now, Newsfirst reached out to the Director General of the Department of Meteorology, Atul Karunanayaka. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
The system is very likely to move west-northwestwards and cross the eastern coast of Sri Lanka between Batticaloa and Point Pedro by tomorrow evening. The depression system currently lies 530 kilometers southeast of Trincomalee.
දිවයිනේ ගිනිකොන දිග බෙන්ගාල බොක්ක ප්‍රදේශයේ
The low pressure zone, which emerged in the Bay of Bengal, has now placed itself around 590 kilometers to the southeast from the Trincomalee shore. This pressure zone has a high probability of turning into a high pressure zone within the next 6 hours, and within the next 12 hours this might turn into a cyclone. However, we have informed the fishermen in the shallow water at the north and east of the country to not to go out to sea. Most likely by tomorrow evening there is a possibility that this storm might enter the country through the area between Mullaitivu and Batticaloa. Since this storm is entering the island through the sea, there is a possibility of seawater coming inland. However, this is not a tsunami situation. The cyclone could directly affect the northern, north central, eastern and Uva provinces. This will cause the skies to be heavily clouded and cause heavy rains, including the increase in wind speeds around the 3rd of this month. The cyclone will eventually leave the island through the Manna district.
ඒ කාලේදී වැසි හෝ ගිගුරුම් සහිත වැසි තත්ත්වයන් මේ දින කිහිපය තුල ඇති වෙන්න හැකියාවක් තියෙනවා.
The Department of Fisheries has requested fishing communities to refrain from setting out to sea from any area of the island until the 4th of December. The Assistant Director of the Department of Meteorology, Padmapriya Thisera, said fishing boats which are currently at the sea in the east should sail away to safer areas. Meanwhile, fishermen were refrained from going into the sea from Gaul, Divatavalla, Kadaivalla and Ratkamavalla fishing ports today. Fishermen who were engaged in net fishing industry at the Divatavalla fishing port caught large numbers of fish.
Now what you are witnessing right now are satellite imagery of the deep depression that is currently lying around 530 kilometers away from Trincomalee in Sri Lanka. This is known as Cyclone Burevi. Although this is a deep depression system now, it has been forecast to intensify further and turn into a cyclone as it moves towards Sri Lanka, where it will be named Cyclone Burevi. It will make landfall tomorrow and the day after, where Sri Lanka will face the full force of the cyclone, which is named Burevi, and tomorrow and the day after is where incessant rains will be experienced, especially in the eastern province, the north central province, the northwestern province, before Cyclone Burevi eventually makes its way towards India. Fishing communities have also been advised to refrain from setting out to sea, especially in these areas, especially in the eastern province, and fishing communities or fishermen that have already set out to sea have been advised to move towards safer areas in order to avoid the cyclone. News First will keep you up to date on the latest developments of Cyclone Burevi. Stay tuned to News First as we bring you those latest updates. It is back to Tharusha from the news studio.
Thank you, Jamal. That was Jamal Ratnagar bringing you your weather update, and we advise our viewers to be vigilant as weather is going to be tough in the coming few days. In more news from here at home, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa reiterated the government's commitment towards servicing its debt obligations. The president made these remarks while addressing the 20th Sri Lanka Economic Summit, which commenced virtually this morning.
A significant issue in Sri Lanka's current economic context is the extremely high debt burden we are faced with. The large volume of pending debt repayments is a matter of concern. It is important to stress, however, that Sri Lanka has always met its debt obligations on time and in full, and that we will continue to do so. Nevertheless, our over-reliance on loans must come to an end. That is why the focus of the government is on fostering investments. I must also note there have been several instances of projects, including some funded by foreign government, that have stalled due to various reasons. Such delays are deeply problematic. They also create negative picture about the way the country operates. The government is keen on addressing such problems that discourage investors. Investment is also needed in human resource development to enable our workers to make the most these changes. It must be admitted, however, that some government institutions may lag behind in this regard at the moment. This is due to legacy problems, including lack of infrastructure, process engineering, and training. Changing this is one of my key priorities. The very recent establishment of a separate Ministry of Technology under my direct purview is an important step in our overall drive towards digitization.
I know the relationship between India and Sri Lanka is special. We have undertaken a lot of steps in the recent past to be actively engaged with Sri Lanka. We are also building good connectivity between the two economies, the air link between Jaffna and Chennai, and also the ferry services which can be improved even further are all signs of the people-to-people contact which, with positive engagement, can bring in a lot of difference to the two economies. I also understand through the RBI there is a currency swap arrangement with the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, which during the pandemic, occurring probably in July 2020, to the extent of about $400 million. We also have, I think, some new initiatives to which about $100 million of line of credit is extended. The bilateral partnership has the potential to benefit from the measures announced by the Sri Lankan 2021 budget, especially steps aimed at encouraging FDI and promoting manufacturing.
Meanwhile, 87 prisoners who were granted bail by courts have been directed to quarantine at the quarantine centre in Adalachene, Ampara. This was confirmed to Newsfirst by Sri Lanka police. Sri Lanka police added the decision was taken in light of the situation that has arisen at present.
According to the media spokesperson of police, DIG Ajit Rohana, 187 inmates who have contracted COVID-19 are currently being held separately within the Colombo remand prison.
දැනට මේ සම්බන්ධව විමර්ශන ආරම්භ කරලා තියෙනවා අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව විසින්.
Investigations are underway at present. The CID has launched a criminal investigation as well. Security has been tightened in the area with 600 police and STF officers being deployed additionally. The judicial inquest is to be held on the deceased inmates based on the provisions of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Based on early reports, prison cells, wards, officers, documents and archives, hospital and the kitchen have been destroyed. A full report is pending. There is a hindrance to obtain details of inmates since the documents have been destroyed. Therefore, we have to source these documents from other areas and carry out investigations.
යම් අපහසුතාවයක් තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මේ සම්බන්ධිත අනිකුත් ලේඛන එම ස්ථානවලින් සොයාගෙන මේ සම්බන්ධ කඩිනමින් පියවර ගැනීමට නියමිතව තිබෙනවා.
Director of the Ragam Hospital, Dr. Shelton Pereira, said 113 people who suffered injuries during the Mahara prison unrest have been admitted to the hospital, adding that 35 out of them have tested positive for COVID-19. The director added 16 people are in serious condition while 4 of them are in critical state.
Venerable Bhattaramulle Sila Ratanathero expressed the following views at a party meeting held in Beliatta. Who smuggled drugs into prisons all this time? I will make a suggestion. Remove all prison officials, commissioners, ASPs and hand over control of prisons to the Tri-Forces and assess its success rate within a certain timeline. The Tri-Forces and the police should form an alliance to ensure safety at prisons. Otherwise, the other officials will never ensure safety in prisons. They are incapable. We will protect this country. The main suspect in the assassination of Ranjan De Silva, the father of cricketer Dhananjay De Silva, was arrested in the United Arab Emirates by Interpol today. This was following a notice issued by Sri Lanka to the Interpol.
Ranjan De Silva, father of popular cricketer Dhananjay De Silva, was murdered on the 14th of May 2018. An investigation revealed that the main suspect of this incident was a person called Dharmasiri Pereira. Details were unearthed following a late investigation that he had fled the country after committing the murder. It was revealed that he had fled to the United Arab Emirates. And after facts were presented to court, we were able to obtain a warrant for his arrest. After this warrant was issued to Interpol, a red notice was issued to the UAE police to arrest the suspect.
As a result, the suspect was arrested on the 29th of last month. This is informed to Interpol as well as the Sri Lankan government. We are hoping to bring the suspect back to the country under extradition laws.
මෙම තැනැත්තා රැගෙනීම සඳහා උදාර්පණ නීතින් යටතේ කටයුතු කිරීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
In today's COVID-19 update, the total number of COVID-19 cases in the country rose to 23,987 with the discovery of 496 new COVID-19 cases yesterday. A total number of 6,309 patients are currently receiving treatment under medical supervision, the Department of Government Information said. With the recovery of 558 patients yesterday, the total number of recoveries in the country rose to 17,560. However, 2 more COVID-19 related deaths were reported yesterday. The deceased are reported to be a 72-year-old male from Galaha and an 81-year-old female from Atalugama. With the latest deaths, the total number of COVID-19 related deaths in the island rose to 118. President-elect Joe Biden unveiled his economic team yesterday, saying he intends to nominate Janet Yellen, former chairwoman of the Federal Reserve, to lead the Treasury Department, and Cecilia Roos to lead the White House Council of Economic Advisers.
Both the selections of Yellen and Roos will make history, as Yellen will be the first woman to serve as Treasury Secretary if she is confirmed by the Senate, and Roos would be the first woman of color to chair the Council of Economic Advisers. Biden's transition team formally announced their selections yesterday, as well as Wally Adeyemo to serve as Yellen's deputy at the Treasury Department, and Jared Bernstein and Heather Bushy to join Roos on the Council of Economic Advisers. Biden said in a statement, quote, "As we get to work to control the virus, this is a team that will deliver immediate economic relief for the people during this economic crisis and help us build our economy back better than ever. This team is comprised of respected and tested groundbreaking public servants who will help the communities hardest hit by COVID-19 and address the structural inequities in our economy. They will work tirelessly to ensure every American enjoys a fair return for their work and an equal chance to get ahead, and that our businesses can thrive and outcompete the rest of the world," unquote. As part of the same announcement, Biden nominated Neera Tanden to serve as Director of the Office of Management and Budget. It confirmed Tanden would be the first woman of color to lead the OMB.
That is all the news we have for you this afternoon. I'm Tarusha Kumar Singha. Take care and have a nice day.